Morning all. So today I'll just be answering the security questions that were asked this week, and we'll just get right into it. So for the first question that I was asked was, what is Windows authentication in SQL Server, and one benefit of that over the SQL authentication. So firstly, the Windows security, otherwise known as the Windows authentication, is specified security at the operating level, to which the user connects to Windows using their Windows user account. One benefit of the Windows authentication is it is a trusted connection on the operating system. And the SQL Server authentication is provided for backward compatibility only. That's the reason why we use the Windows authentication instead. The second question we had was the difference between authentication and authorization, and one example, the authorization. So authorization focuses on the user logins, schema, and assigning roles to specific users, whereas authorization users are given specified permissions to view or make changes to the database they're assigned to. An example is on my main operating system is the localhost desktop, and I can grant permission to the new user that I created, Sam the clerk. Example of a command I can grant to him would be the select or insert. So this will allow Sam to basically insert, this will allow Sam to select and read rows as well as insert data into the database he's assigned to. All right, I will come back to verifying whether the SQL is in authorization mode. Just want to answer the last question that was asked. So what would happen if you were to grant permission to a table to a fixed data role public? This permission apply to future users, and why would this be dangerous? All right, so yes, this would apply to future users because it would capture all permissions for the user in a database, and in this case, the select permission. This is dangerous as it cannot be dropped, and any future user assigned to the public role can by default view catalog views and display information from the master system. Right, so I'll just share my other screen with you quickly. All right, so now to check that my SQL Server installation is in mixed authorization mode, we're just going to go to the right-click properties. Up here, security. Yes, right. So SQL Server and Windows authentication mode, that is basically mixed mode. All right, so now let's jump into the scenarios that we had. So firstly, just get there. All right. For the first scenario, we had to create 4 new schemas and the processes. So these are the 4 schemas I created for my building database, the participants, the league schema, and for my sales order, it was the admin and trading. And also we had to process, well, we basically had to transfer tables to those schemas. All right, so for the bowling database, I decided to transfer bowler scores, bowlers, teams, and bowler ratings to the participants schema of the bowling database. Using the alter schema, you mentioned the schema, transfer the tables that you want to transfer there. And over here in the league schema, I transferred the match games, tournaments, tournament matches, weeks, and skip labels. For the sales database, I created admin as well as the trading schema, and I transferred these following tables to the admin and also these following tables to the trading schema. All right. I then proceeded to create 4 new logins, which I mapped the schemas that they are allowed to basically select from. All right, so the first one I created was Tracy, the admin. So we're just going to go into her, go to the databases, and she is in the sales orders example. So if we see here, we'll see there are all the schemas that Tracy is basically assigned to. So she has access to those schemas. Whereas if I try to go to the recipes database, okay, there we go. So that will basically, she is not able to access that database. She's not mapped there. If we go to the next login I created was John Sales, and we'll see the schemas he's assigned to. Database tables, there we are. See that? John is assigned to trading. Just so you can see how I also created these new logins over here. You'll see I created Tracy, John, the sales rep, and Tom, the coach for the bowling database, as well as Leah, the sports coordinator for the bowling database. And I basically granted them commands on those schemas. Okay, now let's see Tom, the coach. He has access to the bowling league database and over the participants schema tables. If we go to Kenneth Alice, Leah, the sports coordinator. All right, in the bowling database tables, we see that Leah has access to the league schema. All right, now if we move on to the next one, so basically I'll just be showing you the DCL, so the grant commands that I granted to my current users. So I granted the select insert to Tracy, the admin, that would be in the sales orders database. Over here, I also granted the update and select to John, the sales rep. Right, and so basically now, often we will have new users. So instead of granting selects or granting the commands to them individually, which would be a lot of work, you can basically just create a role and grant certain commands to that role. So anytime you add a user, they will automatically get granted those commands because they are into that role. So I created 2 roles in the sales orders database. So I created the administrators and the sale rep. I then granted the select insert to the, I granted the select insert and delete commands to the administrators for the customers, orders, and vendors tables in the admin schema. And for the trading, I granted the update select to the sales rep for the order details, product vendors, as well as for the select. All right, so now we're just going, we had to create basically 2 users for each role that we created. So I created a user Alice, the admin, as well as Destiny, the sales rep. So if we just go into their server, right. So now we'll see over here the admin customers, which I already did. Just find it here quickly. All right. So Alice is able to select. So if we just select all of that, execute, she's able to select from the customers table. And since she also has the insert command or insert permission, let's say she needs to insert the new customer information. So if I just run the statement that basically inserts into the customer those specific values there, so effective on row, and we go back, execute that, we'll see here at the bottom that there is a new customer added. And if this customer decides last minute, oh, okay, you know what, I don't want to be a customer anymore, then you can just delete that customer from the customer table. See the select just to check. We'll see here that that customer is no longer there. All right, then we also had Destiny, the sales rep, who is granted the update and delete commands. Where are now? Table. So over here. So Destiny is able to select. And if he needs to make any updates to the tables that he is assigned to, he's able to use the updates to either update details or to basically just modify them. All right. So there are a lot of security that is important within the databases. So over here, this query basically allows you to view the databases and the usernames on the system, as well as the roles that are assigned to them. So if you can see here, for the administrators, we see that Tracy is an admin there, or the database user. Alice is over there, is assigned to that role. We also have over here the sale rep role, and we see there that there are 2 users that are assigned there. All right. And for the next one, over here, you are basically able to see all the users that are on your system, which I think is important because at times we just tend to just create users and you actually forget how many users you have. So just to see the users that are on your system, you see here there is Sam the clerk, Tracy admin, John sales rep, Tom the coach, Leah the sports coordinator, Alice the admin, and Destiny the sales rep. So this information is important because if you need to make any changes to these users and you're not sure which user it is, you can just run this code to find out how many users you do have on your system. All right, thank you so much for watching.